I'm a fucking war machine. When I roll up on the scene, run in fear. I'm a fucking war machine. Fight for your rights. Christ teetotaler. Camera of mass destruction. That's my function. I'm a fucking war machine. You better run from me. Christ T. Camera at my side. Let's ride. I'm a fucking war machine. They war on my rights. I sail to new heights. In the big time. Expose their crimes. I'm a fucking war machine. When I roll in, motherfucking war machine. Camera on my side. Let's ride. They war on my rights. With all of their arms and armor. No name police state of hate. When they take it higher to the law of the land, they roll on my rights. They're rolling and hating, cause I got them dirty, putting on the hurdy on my camera. Now they wanna hurt me, like I'm riding dirty. I got my camera rolling. I got you hated, rolling dirty. Got you dirty, got you dirty, rolling dirty. Trying to do me dirty, trying to put on a hurty, trying to put on the hurt. Me, I got you lying and hurting. Got you dirty, you're hating on camera. Got you riding dirty, you're dirty. I'm a fucking war machine. Good morning, patriots. Good morning, lying road cops mutilating the radio transmissions to keep my people free and to get the save. A lot happened last night and yesterday. Try and make it through some of it. I got a plan to take care of some of the stuff at work that happened. I thought and honored my job for letting me stay in the tire shed, and the big boss came by yesterday and gave me a ride to pick my Jeep up when it was broke. Well, all of that, and they're like, you can't do that. You can't clock out and remain on the facility. And I got to make sure I don't say the wrong way and reveal any of these people's names. But, you know, I didn't need any added stress. And, you know, it kind of bothered me. And I wrote down 5 proposals that would make my job better. I'm not the only one who's slept in a warm, heated part of the facility. And I'm saying more than 6 people have done it. I'm not throwing them under the bus and not exposing them. What they really need to do is allow people to do that. There are many, many situations, snowstorms where you want us to come back to work, a few mere hours when people live hours away.
it would be ridiculous to make them go and sit out in their vehicle when there's a nice warm place on the multiple floors of the facility, office space, where you could add a couple of cots that people could lay down comfortably in a quiet part of the facility that's heated. It would be really hot in the summer, and and those conference rooms on the third floor are rarely used. That's all in there. There's TVs. It's set up. There's a bathroom right there. So I'm going to propose that and a bunch of other safety and security issues that I've been wanting to have a talk through our union process and grievance process. Matt had a good heart, and he said, next time, come and see me, and we'll get you a hotel room. There's really no need of that. They know through our badges when we go through the turnstiles. And it was clearly, he merely looked at my clock in, clock out, and whether I went through the turnstile or not. And it was obvious that I'd spent 10 hours in the facility off the clock. And he didn't threaten discipline really, but he's like, don't you ever do that again. And, like I said, I praised them for doing that. And then come to find out they didn't want that. And I had no place to be other than to have paid for a hotel room. And financially, we really can't do that and make all my car payments and pay for my home that I can't go to. And I wanted to cover some other stuff. The guy that was depressed on the curb of the street that I stopped and stooped and helped up, helped me up and gave me my first rubber duckies for the Jeep. Really cool. You can order 25 online for $8, I guess. And I'm not really, I don't want to say this, but he's not homeless, but I gave him money so that he might have a little more joy in his life. It was like a charitable donation, and those are some of the things I usually don't ever say that I've done that. Right? I mean, that's money I could have used for something else too. And I was rewarded for that. I told him about my health problems and that, and he legged me up and gave me a bag of stuff, V8, all healthy snacks, and a whole bag full of goodies. I can't say enough. Rooms, that was endearing, and we spent 25 minutes talking over at Domino's outside, and their employees came out, and I asked, we're not talking too loud and bothering. No, you guys are fine. Law enforcement went by twice. And then I heard the calls for getting the vehicle towed and the subsequent live video and stuff like that. And I did go over to the parking lot at the ship place and was able to get 5 hours sleep in the vehicle. I wore both coats, put the blankets over me, and I was quite comfortable till 5 a.m.-ish. And then went and took care of business and refueled the vehicle Rusty Lantern, a nice facility, the best bathroom in town, right? They're really competing with Target. Target's got a really nice bathroom, but they're not open 24/7 for availability, and that's why all those plow truck drivers yesterday were going over there. Good shout out to them. They have been fantastic. Allowed me to record in their parking lot. Never shooed me away and threatened me out of there like Cumberland Farms has. Cumberland Farms is an evil entity and threatens their employees with termination if they talk about what happens in their facility. Dudes, you're breaking federal law, and those people, every employee could sue Cumberland Farms. Right? I posted the information yesterday, and 100%, you can sue for distress, mental distress over that. Right? You witness something, some kind of wrongdoing, or some terrible event where you need to talk about that. And for them to tell you, oh, shut up, that's a First Amendment violation, and it's causing distress to the employee. Oh, I can't talk about that. I'll get fired. You dirty bastards. Right? Oh, it's corporate. That's what I was told. I was also informed, I know I can't comment still on the page. Someone said the warming shelter do lock the door at 10 o'clock and unlock at 8 a.m. So, what the F, Brunswick? Right? That's not what dispatch told me. We'll have to get a confirmation. I'm going to go over to the Tedford shelter in a bit. I know they're not open yet. And I knew that the place with rooms over there on Cumberland Street, I'm pretty sure they locked the door at 10 o'clock. I work second shift, and I don't get out until after 11, sometimes later than that, right? And that money funds my life and keeps the lights on at my home and stuff like that. I can't let that stuff go, right? There are people there in terrible pain and suffering, and they need heat and lights, right? So the cost of a hotel room would prohibit me from paying all those things, you know? That's $700 a week to have a room in a motel every night. Right? That's almost both car payments right there for 1 week. And those are monthly car payments, you know? Yeah. And this is how people legit end up homeless and not be able to pay everything. It's, you know, do I have to let my automobile go so that I can keep my apartment? And then how do I get around? There's no way someone working at, say, Rusty Lantern can afford an apartment, an automobile, insurance on said automobile, and then, you know, they get laid into when they can't afford to go over and fix the car for a cracked windshield and they got no sticker, and then the Brunswick police steal their fucking vehicle. Right? Right? You know, they got the car for $600. The windshield is over $1,000 on some of these vehicles. And just because it's got a crack in it, it's still perfectly serviceable, and there's no need to replace it. And that's part of what the inspection going away in New Hampshire was about, and that's what they said. These vehicles are like disposable vehicles, And as long as they got good tires and brakes and the lights, most of the lights work, PD should leave it alone. There's no need of worrying about these asinine stickers that just generate money and allow the road pirates to overtake your vessel for profits of the damn wrecker service, the evil entity of the wrecker service. But like I said, I have one report where someone's impounded vehicle was given back to them free of charge. Does that mean, and this happened recently, understand, does that mean my efforts to expose them for the previous year's theft and evil deeds has made them straighten up and fly right? Right? So I'm giving a shout out. Has anybody lost anything since June of this year by Atlantic Coast Towing during bailment, something like that? I want to know, have they conformed since I shot my live video and embarrassed them on YouTube, because it's up on YouTube? And if they've straightened up and flied right and corrected all their drivers, you know, I will honor you. Skylar said it was Chris at Atlantic Coast who gave them their vehicle back so that he might go to work and earn money and keep his apartment and not lose his whole life. Right? If you've turned over a new leaf and you've corrected your drivers, Atlantic Coast, I will stop calling you an evil entity of the road pirates. I'm a man of my word, and I hope that that's the case, and that my advocacy has brought change. That's the idea, right? You shake your sand from your shoes and curse them in the name of Jesus, and that's what it's called. And people have said that I'm wrong and that Jesus don't curse people. Yes, he did, right? He turned evil people into pigs and ran them off a cliff. Yeah, I've read the Bible. Have you? And yeah, I curse. And some of it is uncontrolled speech. It just comes out like water sometimes. So I'm going to find out the accuracy of them locking the doors at 10 o'clock to 8 a.m., which would forebode anybody who works swing shifts, and there are many, and who could end up in the same situation that I am in. And, you know, we could advocate for a change on that if that is the case. Is it you just got to keep knocking on the door and somebody will come and unlock it? We got to find these things out, because it's fixing to get really cold. And if I have to continue to be in my vehicle, it could be a grave situation, right? And the town of Brunswick has spent a lot of money, millions of dollars, on all kinds of ridiculous shit, right? Armored car, that they should have fixed the old one. The old one was way cooler. The Bearcat looks like a Jeep, right? The other one had better armor, had more different abilities, better armor, and you could have just LS equipped it. I'm telling you, some local shop would have put a $2,000 LS motor in that for $3,000 and been happy to do it, and it wouldn't have taken them long, and the thing would have been reliable again. Sure, the diesel motor probably had more torque and horsepower, but the pre-2000 LS motors are with a standalone computer, had like one wire hookup, and they only hook up a few wires to start it, run it, and all of that, run the fuel pump. You know, there are way better options, and diesel motors can be bought too, and you could have fixed that for 10 grand or a little more. There are way better options than spending $400K on that monstrosity in the slap in the face of all the homeless in town. You know, we got people dying on the streets, right behind Applebee's. Terrible, terrible tragedy. I hope people have donated to Lisa Trombley to have the animals cremated. She does a lot. She has homeless living in her backyard, and you know, those people have been on the show, and I've interviewed them and stuff like that, and you know, they're having a hard go of it. And you know, like I said, there has to be a large facility in town that the town is taking for taxes. Maybe a commercial property with lots of rooms and bathrooms. Maybe a motel or something I don't know about. And certainly the Ford dealership over here that's floating on oil. Right, you need to drill holes, put pipes in there, and pump the oil out from under the building and get that natural disaster taken care of. If it needs to be taken for eminent domain or money needs to be spent on that, we got 2 law enforcement just leaving. They're not going lights and sirens, so they might. It is shift change at the PD. Sometimes they stagger the shift change at 1 hour difference. They're both heading towards Cook's Corner. And they know that I'm over here. They seen me, they drove right by before I went live. And they're not going lights and siren. I can see down on Mill Street. And did you know that right by the Swinging Bridge, there used to be a mill facility there? If you go on the Topsom side and look across, you can see the brickwork from the foundation. I don't know if anybody's got any pictures of all that. That'd be really neat to see. I've done magnet fishing over there, and that's where I recovered a firearm and stuff. Pretty cool. 1 hour and 15 minutes in magnet fishing, I pulled that revolver out of the river. I tripped the weight cool meter, and I was really excited to find it. Charles Thompson came as the officer who retrieved the firearm. And a year later, I was able to get it back. It can't be fired again. It's like a novelty piece. I'd like to mount it on a wooden plaque, you know, to put on the wall or something. I haven't got around to that. Right. I got more pressing projects. I got to work on the Kitty Monte Carlo. I've got a cylinder head prepared and ported to match the other one that's repaired and ported. I think I bent a valve doing a 60-foot burnout. I give it a little too much there, old girl. And I was trying to keep the RPM down. You know, it's a used motor, the original motor, and I think you touched the piston and just put a little tweak on the valve. You float the valve if you give it a little too much RPM, and it was pretty crisp and throttle until that happened. And then it had a little puff of smoke, and it was backfire a little bit, and yeah, there's bent valve or something. And I gotta change that, and then it should run as good as it did after rebuilding it, putting it together with a new cam and lifters, and new head gaskets and porting the head. Porting the heads don't take long to gasket match and stuff like that, and clean up the openings to improve flow. You're going to gain some horsepower, and I actually like a 305 for that rather than the 350. You still get some decent mileage when you back out of the throttle and get it up on its third gear, and they're wonderful, and they sound good. If you put the thick head gaskets in them, it's like stepping on a plum. They'll sound good and run good, but they have zero HP. You probably got 100 horsepower motor, you know, it knocks them right flat. My buddy Johnny Mott out in Dresden, he's bored out a 302 with a cylinder hone before. Lots and lots of lube. Put multiple stones on, but those are adjustable, so you can maintain the cylinder. And he bored the cylinders, the motor runs great. He has a 302 Ford motor that he used in a skidder, and he's rebuilt it like 7 times. He's had it his whole life since he was a teenager. The same 302 motor. Pretty cool. Johnny Mott retired 2023. Him, Mike Stacy, we lost 8. Look, mutilated radio communications in defiance of the request of the auditor. Sad to say, Officer Ray or Trey or however you say that yesterday, I was excited that he shook my hand. I asked him how many years of service, and he was like, I just got started in May or whatever. I hadn't interacted with him at all yet, and he said thank you for your accountability. And then I got messaged, failure to intervene, December 18th. Y'all should have put cuffs on that officer who upended the 17-year-old girl and split her head open and knocked her out over at Advanced Auto Parts. You should have said stand down and put the cuffs on him and comforted the 17-year-old and never put her in cuffs. She didn't assault him. We all know, the witnesses all said she was suffering a coercion against rights and assault by the said officer, and the town is trying to cover it up and make this all go away, and we the people want to see it. You can blur out the teenager's face. She's almost 18. You could blur out the officers' faces. We want to see the video. That's part of accountability. The investigation is over. The DA doesn't need to investigate further. That's all horseshit. You don't want to show it because it's a public relations disaster. Well, you've been doing this shit for years, and it's time for change. You make those changes, and Mr. Cantrell will lighten the hell up a whole bunch, and he'll go work on his cars, right? And he won't feel so compelled to come and put the camera to you because you're hurting all my people and retaliating. That entire situation with Mr. Day, shift officer, right, all began because I advertised the wrecker service of the vehicle getting impounded, right? You laid into him, hero firefighter, trying to make money with a wrecker. You laid into him impounding his vehicle twice in 2 weeks. There ain't nothing wrong with that wrecker. The frame is solid on it. It's got good tread on the tires. Right? It runs, it drives, it stops. The exhaust is meaningless. It don't leak that much. And it's behind the cab. None of that shit matters. Gotta stop with this bullshit. That's interference with commerce. There are multiple reasons why that shit is wrong. You can't just get antique auto tags for an antique auto because it's a commercial vehicle that he uses to tow stuff, right? He has to maintain commercial plates and go through the rigorous commercial inspection when it should have the ability to be a farm truck or something. Right? He only operates in the limited area around here. There should be provisions for that. Now, I think that there's a guy with that yellow wrecker, and I think that somehow he might have maneuvered around that somehow. Oh, I'm enjoying my coffee. How many we got? Jeffrey Sloan, William Frazier, and I suspect that there's one watching anonymously, and that's probably the police station. I'm offended. I've called and reached out to Todd Ridlin. He hasn't called me back, and I like that avalanche there, the black one. I believe that's a police officer. Let's see. Yeah, he's going in there. Yeah, he works at the PD. I love that thing. That thing's freaking awesome. Is that Jared Barrels?
Yeah, I'll be right over.
That thing's pretty awesome. I kind of wanted one of those, but the one with the newer body has the ridiculously expensive 6-speed transmission in it, and they're $3,000 for one that may or may not be rebuilt good enough to last. It's really in the neighborhood of $6,000. If the transmission's gone in those, it ain't even worth fixing them. You know, these are all set up to be disposable. When certain items go, it ain't worth fixing it, right? You can find one of those on Marketplace with a blown transmission for fucking $800. You know, with hardly any rust on it, $1,500. You know, it ain't worth putting the $3,000 transmission in something like that. I bought a Yukon 2010 with leather interior, TVs, power everything, power lift gate.
703.
Not a lick of rust on underneath or anywhere, and the transmission's $3,000 to replace.
How you making up?
Right?
Not too bad.
I paid $800 for it. It ain't worth putting $3,000 in the transmission. It just isn't. And then to buy a used one for $1,000, you're rolling the dice. I'm old and I would have to pay somebody to put it in. So we flipped it as is, and I got something else that I could fix. I'm getting all on one land of the car. Takes me 8 minutes to get up off the ground now. And my knees hurt really bad. Which forced me to get rid of my 68 Firebird that I got off the snowmobile trail in Oxford. One of the most memorable events. I felt like my grandfather and my uncle dragging some street rod out of the woods, and I wanted to drive it down the road, and I've been promised by the person I traded with out in Sabatis that when it's done, he'll bring it over and let me take it for a ride. And that's what I want, you know. I put the car together. It's best I could. It was almost done, but I would have had to lay underneath it and do a whole bunch of stuff to finish it, and I had no desire to do that anymore. Getting pretty broken and old, so I traded for my new ride, 84 Z28 with some cool options, Batmobile to go along with my red IROC Z. Just the color of it made people angry. I noticed that a couple times when I got behind some people. They were instantly mad looking at something red, like a Bulls, you know. Just made them angry to look at it. So yeah, I didn't even drive it this year. The starter failed, and due to having 3-inch Flowmaster exhaust right to the header, you can't get the starter out. So I tried twice replacing the solenoid, putting a brand new one on, and I put a used one on first, and it wouldn't start. And it was spinning over, it just wouldn't, the starter wouldn't engage, so I thought it was just the solenoid. And I put another brand new solenoid on, and it won't start. And yeah, then I have to lay under it for hours and hours and unbolt the exhaust, and yeah, pain in the ass. So anyway, those are some of the projects I got to get back to, and those will bring me peace of mind. And all that is left, Road Pirate Ship, is the ability to get timely public records requests of your body camera evidence. Your body camera evidence is no good if nobody can get it, right? I know you're going to wait 2 years for the upending of the 17-year-old December of 25. And you're wrong, right? We the people are supreme, and we the people have a right and control of the records, not you guys. You're fundamentally operating feloniously. The clerk is doing it and thinking she's righteous. Fran Smith, she's dismissed from my lawsuit, and she's systematically allowing the crooked town lawyer to look at the evidence that's all mutilated and be like, yep, perfect. There's nothing here that we can get sued over. That's the point of the fucking public records, you bastards.
Yeah, when they were working on Union, I did open or high just to keep going.
This is Public Works. And that's how I found out that truck was going to get towed. The car was going to get towed on Main Street, and was able to get the save. It's the same thing, guys.
Guess I will start.
This should be the police stuff, right? And then I can avoid going to death investigations that people get all mad at me about. Hey, I saw the pretty lights and stopped to film it. Back the F off, guys. You know, I can't tell what it is. Right? I just turned the scanner on to drive to work at 6 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. in the morning. And I didn't turn it on to disturb the other people in my home until I walked out the door. I had no idea what was going on over there. I thought it was like smoke detector or something, and it'd be cool to show the pretty lights, and the cops were there. I had no idea that was somebody's meemaw and a loved one that had passed away. And the last thing I would want to do is put the camera to that, right? You know, I've gone over there when you guys got people stealing shit, and you called for assistance from PD, and I was over there before the cops and put them guys on camera. You guys broke shit and stole shit at the fucking junkyard. Shame on you, right? Public fucking shame and ridicule, right? Don't friggin' do that shit. Same thing with an OUI. You know, I'm proud when I'm there in an OUI and the cops got a fucking good collar and the guy's shithoused and they got him off the road, right? Especially if they didn't crash. When they crash, you know, I'm on the fence. You know, they basically surrendered themselves up because they were so drunk they couldn't drive. That's not a good arrest. You know, they crashed.
Somebody else in it today.
It's not a good arrest, right? You didn't catch them before they needed to. People call those in all the time. You don't need to patrol. It's the same deal. You know, more people call in. But see, another thing is the statistics and the posted arrests. Someone else's research, and every other town in the area, he's going for a coffee, I bet, posts their arrests. Not Brunswick. Someone else said that they don't do it because of public outcry that they were putting their name in the paper and stuff for a silly arrest. That's the point, dude. Right? I think it's the police not wanting to post their arrests because they're arresting people when they shouldn't. Right? That's part of public records being mutilated. Right? Used to be in the free newspaper. You could get right to Hannaford. Oh, who got arrested this week? Weekly arrest logs. Right? And I begged and pleaded with you, if you don't want them posted public, then I want to FOIA request it. And they're defiant over it. Nope. Blah, blah, blah. We don't listen to you. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, I'm right. You know? That's how they do it. All the other towns post it. Is shame on you. Post your arrests so that we the people might call our people up when we see their name in there and be like, what the fuck happened? Why'd they arrest you? Oh, it was bullshit. They made shit up and arrested me. Right? See, we don't know. So we have to wait until somebody complains to me once a week about some heinous act or false arrest, false impoundment of their vehicle that's perfectly safe. Kind of bullshit. I think that car is driving without lights. Yep. The signal was lighting up, but when the signal stopped and they let off the brakes, there was nothing. So they're driving with no lights. They should figure it out when it gets dark around the corner there, but they might not. So, yeah, I don't want to reveal what I got planned. I got three events I'm going to go to. One will be off camera, the Tedford shelter, and I'll have to discuss with them because it's going to be frigid this weekend, and it'll be detrimental to my health to stay in my Jeep if I have to. So we're going to go over there, and I'm going to have to suck it up, buttercup, and maybe stay at the shelter when it's wicked, wicked cold, so that I don't unalive myself in my Jeep and end up a slumpty dumpty in here or something due to my poor health. You know, my poor health is part of what's given me the courage to do what I do. Right? Right? Life in prison. If they were to plant drugs on me like they attempted to in 2023 over there in the parking lot off of Cumberland Street, the lot near the hair place over there that I've seen other people park their vehicles in. Anyway, there was an officer waiting. There was some kind of fight at the Tedford shelter. There was a fight over at the Tedford shelter. I showed up to record, parked in that empty lot over there at the closed businesses, and I suspect I know who the officer was, but this was right after the incidents with Corey Isles and the Mickles family, and the torture and the beating of the people for window tint and tire poke. Kevin Smith, he felt threatened in Advanced Auto Parts. The manager talked to me all about it. He witnessed it. Johnny Mickles told me about it, where Courtney and Kevin were in the store, cowering in the back of the store because Corey Isles was at the counter, and he turned to them and goes, "You guys want a rematch?" I find that extremely offensive, right? He's threatening Kevin Smith in a store where they were quietly waiting out of the way so as not to disturb Mr. Isles while he bought auto parts. And he took it upon himself to shout an ignorant statement like that, right? And multiple times he's thrown me out of scenes where people were hurt, where there's a victim of potentially an OUI driver, hit and run on Mere Point, the FOIA request not answered. I'm sure they've mutilated the records at this point. They're beyond recognition, like they did the October 7th Andrew Fitzpatrick report. Christopher Walongvik has no report for that day. He didn't arrest anybody, so the chief said he has no report for someone who supposedly was identified by the drawing in my complaint as the officer who drew his firearm. Right? You know, I'd love it, Chris, if you'd just say, you know, management allowed us to do that. I did nothing wrong. It's all management's fault. It 100% is. And that's who I've blamed all along. I've never confronted you over it. That's not what happened. You know what I mean? The chief lied, and they showed me Patrick Scott, overhand flashlight. Perfect police work. And said, I can't listen to the audio. There's too much swearing. There's zero swearing in that scene with the flashlight. Nobody's mad, and the OUI driver's standing there. He's not in handcuffs in the back of a police car, leaving just single officer to control two drunk people in the vehicle. Yeah, your driver just got arrested. I'd be pretty upset too. You kidnapped my people. Right? Should have just been like, we had to, he's drunk. Right? Simple shit, guys. You know, people step on your authority and ask questions, and you don't like it so much that you point a gun at them. Yeah, lesson learned, right? I told that to Westridge. I don't want anybody fired. I don't. Didn't have to go down like this, right? We could have had a conversation about it, but no. You guys called me a liar, and the chief threatened to come in and throttle me, held back by the now retired sergeant, one of the nicest officers. He stopped several of my friends when they weren't in the most sober condition, and treated them with dignity and respect and allowed them to drive off. They were probably mildly impaired. I'm not going to say any of their names, but, you know, I hear all these stories, guys. I know what happens in town, and my brain is so full of this shit that it isn't even funny, right? I got, I don't know, at least 7 notebooks with all of these stories written down, songs that I wrote down that I haven't even sung yet, stuff like that. I'd like to work on my music more this summer. My daughter is writing a bunch of songs. Her cheat code song, I think, is written as well as any professional music out there. And I think if we did 25 more takes, cheat codes could be a hit. It's really good. That was written about the retaliation by Officer Day, right? And she says Day about 7 times in the song. And it's well put in there, and it's not throwing him under the bus. It's just suggestive of it. And I don't care. He hurt my people. He laid in wait for them. That's offensive. In his eyes, I'm sure he's like, well, they were doing stuff wrong. They had a sticker out. They had a sticker out. Chandler Weidman came to the accident. And I think Asa Hodgson. And it damaged their car, including the exhaust. Right? The flex pipe took a hit. The door took a hit, broke a door handle off. That vehicle had brand new tires all the way around, brand new CB axles, 115,000 miles. Not much mileage for a Honda that can go 300,000 miles. And I hope the employees of Atlantic Coast Towing are enjoying my kid's automobile. And I had to go buy them another car out of my own pocket. I paid $1,000, and my buddy in Sabatis delivered it to my house. It had been smashed in the back. I pounded all the dents out, made it look serviceable. They bought new taillights. I fixed the taillights best I could, and we had struggled to get it inspected. And we took it over to Leah Tire, I think 5 times, and there were little pinholes in the shitty exhaust, and they wouldn't fucking pass it. And it was a giant epic failure, and it hurts me to get under the car and jack it up every time. I did all of that work. That was all my summer's efforts were to make them a car so they could get back on their wheels. Lost his job at the tire service center in Bath. The kid couldn't go to daycare anymore. Had to unenroll her from the daycare in Bath, and couldn't make that work because that's my time I'm asleep. I couldn't drive the kid over there, so they had to unenroll the kid. You hurt my whole family. We all cried when that car was taken. It was a devastating blow. When the service fees after 9 days were over $1,000 to get the car back, I was like, well, you can just buy another freaking car. Yeah, and that came right out of my pocket. I sold my square body plow truck and bought a nice snow blower, and the rest of the money went to buy the kids a car. And I refilled my nest egg back up by trading for the Mustang and an IROC Z without motor. And then I traded that and some cash to get the 84 Z28 305 running and driving. All you do is put a muffler on it and antique auto that, and I could drive it. So that's definitely something I want to do this spring. Whether to sell my red IROC or not, I don't know yet. I'll probably fix the Saturn and sell it. That's got a shift kit, 3-inch exhaust. Sounds great. You could do a 60, 70 foot burnout with it. And yeah, it's probably on camera. That one time I came out of Mill Street and I brought it sideways, smoked the tires, and burned a 60 foot burnout right up over the hill right in front of the police station. Hello, boys. I rather enjoyed that. knowing it was on camera. Yeah, come over and write me excessive noise tire ticket or something. It wasn't that loud. It was awesome is what it was. Showing a little horsepower there, boys. It's kind of sad to see the square body go, but me and the grandson worked on it, put it together.
The snowblower or the straight blade on 82?
We're going to leave the blower on, and I'm going to have Brian meet you out here when you get here and get that kind of washed off. And I'm going to ask you to just give him a go-over of the controls of that machine, if you will.
Let's put put this other scanner on.
The back bay is watching.
Okay, we're having our meeting this morning, and Brian will be out.
We'll get the SAG sheriff going. Okay, she's locked in on the SAG sheriff. Accountable. I don't need to go and film these guys. Those guys are beautiful. Repeatedly been good. I got some insight on the story from Pittsburgh, where I heard the lady yelling, "Get away from me" on 911, and the sheriff showed up, and apparently she was on bath salts. My other auditor from Bath knows her personally, and yeah, she was on a controlled substance and was out of her mind, and apparently did assault the sheriff and did get ticketed for that. I got complete description of what happened and everything else, and our other auditor welfare checked on her after she got out of jail. And you know, she was out of her mind, and they took her to the hospital, and I thought from what was said on the scanner that they were able to scoop her up without too much issue. I hope that the sheriff would drop the assault charges.
But you're in truck 36, correct? Yes, sir.
I think this was
Could you make your way to the shop? They're going to need that truck today.
the
Dump
9th,
it out, just rinse it off
Friday
real
the
quick.
9th. I think I heard that.
Work on that, and they want to work on 31, but we need to get the gear off of 31 so they have room to work on it. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I got a bunch of unanswered questions about the homeless shelter and situation that I'm going to get answers to. I'm going to cut the live off here in a minute. You know, I get long-winded in my morning show that hopefully is over soon. I'll be asleep at this hour. Yeah, with my liver damage, late in your sleep is when your liver function and can heal, and sleeping 2-3 hours at a time is detrimental to my health. And you know, you can heal your liver, but the scarring makes it very hard, and the scarring can lead to liver cancer, and I've been fighting that since 2020, when I found it out by going to the foot doctor. They did a biopsy on my foot because I was having dyshydronic eczema, and I have oozing sores on my feet. They are freaking disgusting. And yes, in 2020, when I did sobriety tests, I had open sores on my feet, and they hurt like the dickens. Yeah. That's terrible. It's gross. I have to wear socks and stuff. I have to powder my feet. I have to, have huge amounts of skin flaking off. It's, what do they call that? Autoimmune disease brought on by the toxins from my liver are leaking into my body and coming out my feet. Yeah, I got liver spots on my arms. I got the lines in my in my nails that indicate liver issues continue. Cornstarch, sugar, different kinds of processed sugars are bad. Natural sugars in fruit and stuff is what I'm supposed to have. Avocados, Mediterranean diet, consisting of fish. I've got, my daughter made me M&M. My daughter, Macy May, made me these tuna casserole. And I got it in the back, and I'm going to enjoy that when I break my fast. Oh, we got Resco toning out.
Correct. You're responding to 19 Mary meeting for a 60-ish-year-old female. Was unconscious on the floor, currently mumbling. 0635.
So it could be a stroke. Amount of strokes is spiking, whether it's from vaccine damage or what it is. Terrible amounts of strokes. And I know a lot of people, as they fail and get older, do have strokes. But yeah, it's been 8 or 10 a day having strokes, and some as young as 32. Right? Interviewed the last time we went to Donahue's months and months ago. There was a guy there who had throat surgery for throat cancer, and he'd claimed that he had 5 strokes in the last year.
Copy. Rescue 2 en route 19 Mary Meeting Road, 68-year-old female. Caller believes she was unconscious, found her on the floor. She is currently awake, incoherent, not making much sense.
Yep. Here they come, and all these cars are backed up. I wonder why the ambulance don't respond at the Cook's Corner place. Mary Meeting is the trailer park, right? And the ambulance was able to get through. That's nice. And he got through at pretty good speed. He'll be there quick to pick her up off the ground. Thanks, heroes. All right, I got a while until the doors are open at the shelter, and
Copy. Engine 1 en route 19 Mary Meeting.
right. Anyway, I don't know when the other people get to work that I want to try and have an interview with, but most likely at 9 before they're available. They're getting the fire truck too. I will stay live for that. Wee lights. Get the save, boys. And that's a good-natured boys. It's not, because those are firemen and women, and they do a super good job. They'll rush in and save you, right? We had the opposite. I did an interview. I saw the guy this morning. He was over at Rusty Lantern. He's got a beard, mustache. He was confronted by Officer Day going into the burning building over there in 2023 at Perryman Drive. And he was like, no, I'm going in to save my dogs. And you're not going to stop me. Well, we're going to go fisticuff right now. Damn right. You went in and saved your animals. And the danger was probably pretty minimal at that point. It wasn't quite fully engaged. There was smoke coming out. And he went in there and was easily saved his dogs. Right? And that precious few minutes before a fire showed up and could run out lines to do any effect. Oh, they're sending an officer, guys. Oh, he's going up the other way. up the hill. All right. Ah, missed it. Damn, just he's got one headlight out. Better get that fixed. You'll be overtaken by road pirates, and they'll write you a big ticket. Right? And then the guy that at the immigrant housing, if he ever came on the page, he said he was gonna. I'd like to know how much your ticket was for the headlight out. I suspect it was $60.
We're familiar with this female, and we're sending a PD unit.
Copy that. Thank you.
So on Mary meeting. So she must be slightly combative. That white car's got no lights, no headlights, just marker lights. No, it does have headlights. There's one out. Yeah, it sends 2 units. Second unit's going.
And rescue 2's on scene.
Wow, they're there already.
Copy, on scene.
All right. All right, I'm going to cut off for a bit. Thanks for watching the show, guys. Like I said, I plan at least go live 2 more times. And we're going to have some feel good. And I'm going to get to say some more stuff. And then I won't go live when I go and talk to the Tedford shelter. And I'll just maybe go live after I get back in my vehicle. And I'll let us know what the situation is. Is this warming shelter open at night, or is it locked up at 10 o'clock? Right? And if it is locked, the town of Brunswick needs to be addressed over that. Right? You spend all this money, capital improvements out on the Navy base, millions of dollars, and you're ignoring we the people of the town. Right? It's as if the immigrants mean more to you than the population that pays your taxes. Right? Those people are negative. They consume our taxes. Right? And it seems like you care more about them. All blue code, democratic, right? Not cool. That's giving, it's right in the, I posted some of the, in treason, giving aid and comfort to your enemies. You know, those foreign immigrants are our enemies who want to hurt us. Some of them. Not all of them, of course. Some of them are normal people of color and stuff, and I don't have a problem with that. They're in the country lawfully. You know, if you're an illegal, then ICE deserves the right to, that's what they're there for, to remove you from the country. You cheated to come into the country, and you don't deserve due process to go out of it. I know that might offend a few people, but that's the way it is. You know that, I forget what state it was, the girl stabbed on the subway out west somewhere. That's a terrible tragedy. She was just innocently sitting on public transit and got stabbed by someone who's a criminal from another country, invited in through Joe Biden and his open door policy. You're giving aid and comfort to our enemies. It's right in the Constitution. Those people are dangerous and want to hurt Americans, and you let them in here. What is going to happen when one of them goes into Walmart and dumps bleach and ammonia on the floor and pouring chlorine gas all over the floor? Those products are right in Walmart. You mix those two together, and a cloud of chlorine gas will unalive everybody in the area. Right? The people from third world countries know all about it. right? They cook down the vegetable oil and they make it motor oil for their vehicle because they don't want to buy expensive motor oil, right? Those people know how to survive without power, right? Our government wouldn't EMP us, would they? Just to take over and force us all to take the chip in the hand. 666. Take the chip in the hand and, or it's off with your head with the guillotines they bought. Probably shouldn't say too much about that or I'll be booted off of Facebook. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. That was for entertainment purposes only. But I do believe that you can look it up. And the U.S. government bought 70,000 guillotines, 100,000 body recovery units, right? They're here on U.S. soil. They're in shipping containers with a big eagle on the side. I've been looking for them out on the Navy base to hopefully take pictures of them. I've seen pictures from other states, and that's what's believed to be in those is guillotines, body recovery units, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, right? Never get on a FEMA train. There's a facility out west. The entire train goes inside it, allegedly. A government agency wouldn't do that. And allegedly there are gas nozzles in the building. It locks down with the entire train inside. And no living beings come out the other end. Why did our government build a facility like that? And one other thing they have is they have these allegedly for the C5 Galaxy to deploy 250,000 micro drones that are single shot anti-personnel units. I believe I posted pictures of alleged equipment, and it flies up and lands on your forehead, and it's bang bang lights out, or just a single bang and lights out, and those things fly at like 35 miles an hour and it's indefensible. If you're outside and there's nothing between you and it, and those alleged body recovery units are for outside scooping bodies up off the streets. Huh. Does that sound like a way to reduce the population? No, the government wouldn't do that. The government wouldn't, FDA approve 3D printed meats and stuff like that. They wouldn't do that, would they? Allegedly. For entertainment purposes only. So I don't get in Facebook jail any worse than I'm at. And I still can't comment until the 24th. Allegedly. For entertainment purposes only. And that's why I can't respond or say anything. Can't comment. And it had to do with, I believe, me saying about the black Toyota truck missing from the hotel over there. A funny comment that I posted. And you can't say the word Booker. And I said it with the H. The Booker took her. And I thought that was funny. He was probably putting his pants back on and heard his truck drive away. Is that what really happened? I believe so. Do I know that? No. Could have been some other different deal. But they were hot to find her. So that's what we kind of suspect. He's got a brand new truck. He's at a low-cost motel. Right? And some female takes off with his vessel. You know, doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out, does it? So I think that one comment is what got me into Facebook jail. Here comes Public Works. They're doing the sidewalk. All right, I'm done.